I have a challenge for you. Now, in third grade, we did some weaving. If you remember, actually down in second grade, we did some weaving. And the weaving technique of literally going back and forth, if you were doing your plain weaving, we can do it with colors. Last year we did some Indian weavings, and we did it with all earth colors. So the basic weaving thing I'll review you on, but what we're going to go is go a little step further. You have magazines at home. I'm hoping everyone has some magazines at home. If not, you could go on the computer and print out a picture of a face. So what you want is a picture of a face, and you want a colored picture in contrast. So if you were doing this one, you would want something, a completely different color shade. And we've done that before in our artwork, where we talk about changing colors if you want contrast for something to show up. So what we're going to do is, you can see here, this is a printed one from the computer, is the Mona Lisa actually. And then I took a picture, another poster that I had from an air show in Camarillo, and I cut it into strips. So I'm going to take these two sheets. I'm going to take an Alexander Calder that has a lot of white in it, and I'm going to take the picture of a girl, and I'm going to make it simpler than this one. I'm going to make it in 4, but you can make it narrower strips. So I'm just going to do it in 4 strips for the example that I'm going to show you. And so right now I folded it in half. Now I can follow that crease line. And now all I have to do is cut this one apart to make, I'm making 8 strips. So I'm making 4 of each picture. Don't have to be perfect. So here I've got, what the secret of this is the weaving part, is making sure you have it in order. So you can see I've got to move it around to get her back in the same position. Okay, the one underneath, because I kept them together, is still there. So you can see how her face is going together as a single picture. I'm going to glue down the background first. Actually, no, I think I'll glue down the girl first. I'm going to take these out and keep these together. I'm keeping my other picture together. Okay, the easy way of weaving is if you take your glue, you remember, I'm going to attach just the top piece down. I'm going to put a piece of glue right across the top. I'm going to put just the top piece down. It's okay to give it some space, because this is actually the weaving makes it a little more interesting that way. So I'm just putting down my pieces. Okay. So these up here, it's all loose. This is all loose. You can see I'm only gluing the top. Now I'm going to take my other picture, make sure get it together. I'm going to go the other direction. So I'm going to take this one first. I'm going to go under, over, under, over. Remember, these are even bigger pieces, so I've got that going there. I'm going to take the next piece. I'm going to do just the opposite. And see. Take the next piece. I'm going just the opposite again. And I'll take the final piece. Am I lined up? Okay, so I have basic weaving. Okay, was that simple? Now again, you want to make it more complicated. you're going to do it in more pieces. So in this one I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces cut here. On this one here I just did 4, so that you can see. This picture was the cover of my art magazine, and then these are the pieces I found that looked interesting because they had all these faces on it. So you can take a look at, I found a sheet that had faces on it so that I could actually have fun just sliding that back in and out. And I haven't even glued these down, the ones that go in and out. So it's a little harder, you can see it. When you get these finished, you can actually glue them down in here so you can see. And then on these, what I did is, it doesn't have to stay a perfect rectangle. You can actually move your pieces around to where you see something interesting happening and move it. So this face I wanted to show a little more here. So I brought my spacing out. Here it has a hand, but I think I'm going to move that back with that color. And there I want that flower and that face here. So in this one, I have littler faces going this direction, and I have the big woodcut face coming here. So here's his nose and his eyes. And if I was going to take a pen and on this one and add more to it, I could come back in and draw his eyebrow. I could make up what I wanted here on this part of it. I can come back here. It's not going to show much because it's color, but I could still put in more of his eye that I wanted to show. You can see what I'm doing here with the lines coming up. So here's his eyes showing. So I can take more of that eye part showing and doing that. It's clear to see on this one. So this one, because I used a solid, the same Alexander Calder section of that magazine, I came back. Here's my single face like I just showed you here. I came back and I just did line drawings to continue. So here's her eye that was underneath here. So at this point, that's why I haven't glued it down. Then I came on the top, and with that strip, I finished the eye here. I finished her nose here. I added her mouth down here. I've added her hair coming out. And in here, here's the hair coming down. I've added more of it out. And in this part of it here, the rest of her eye, and out here at the top of her hair. It's kind of fun to do that. You've just literally changed your thing. The same thing with my little Mona Lisa. I can come back and I can draw in. And again, a black marker is probably the best thing to do this. I can come back in and add the rest of her face and parts of things that I want to put in there just by adding on the other color. That's why you want contrast. You know, the contrast really works the best. In here now with this picture, I can come, I've got part of it. I can add the rest of her face coming up here. I can add, I think it looks like part of her hair is going to come here. So I can start adding. I can always peek what was under there. See, more lines of hair. So I can do line drawings in here where I want it. I can peek under. This is where you can pull them up and down to see if you want. You can literally, oh, that's the one that's not going to move. So I can come back up to where her hairline is here and come back. I know she has more hair coming down here. You can see how fun these are to play with. The more you do it, and then you start to figure out that with your pictures you choose for this, how they're going to work here. I can put out the rest of her head here. You know, I can come back with the rest of her face in here. You can see here, I can come where her hair is coming down. Keep this together. The rest of her chin over here. The other picture is being part of the composition now. You know what we're doing. So I have her shirt. So I can come over here because it's black. It's going to be hard to see the rest of her mouth, but you can still do it. You can start to see that now. I've started to continue, and in here we know her nose is going to come up. So I could just come in and figure out where I wanted to put her nose, and I'm actually in her eyebrow. It's going to be in here. And she's going to have another eye in here. So again, you can just have fun making your person come back to life by doing this. And here you can see the curve of that hair by underneath. It's fun to do this. You could come back and fill this in with marker, with color, and add it that way, or you could just leave it a black and white drawing. They really are fun to play with on when you're doing the faces like this, is to see how much fun it is to do. Again, 4 makes an easier weaving for you, and then the 6 gets a little more complicated. So these 3 are just 4 strips each direction. This one has more, so this one has 6. So it's got a tighter cut on them. But either way it works. Your strips of paper, you're cutting it together, and you're just, again, contrast like we've done in some of your other projects. If you wanted to use words and things, that's kind of an interesting way to do it too. Have fun with this lesson. Take pictures so we can see what you did later.